Look, it'd take you 7 seasons to land a girl too if your employees were pulling stunts like this.
We're finally painting the shed.
Benson gets a bad rap. As kids, we hated him. As adults, we feel for him. Sometimes a man is a bad boss. Other times, he's just a functioning adult who should be legally allowed to choke Rigby for lunch. But in the grand romantic escapades of the regular show, Benson's love life stands out by just no one remembering it. Like, yeah, Rigby got his act together. Mordecai failed so hard he turned himself into a meme. Muscle Man found someone to match his freak, and Skips, we don't talk about Skips. So way off in the distance is Benson's quest to find love after giving everything to his job, and since I'm a completionist and need to buy time for a bigger project, I figured we might as well go over the strange, sad, and ultimately, chill thing Benson ended up just had going on. Cause in a place filled with shenanigans, hidden secrets, and so much just drama, someone had to have a normal ass relationship, and by some miracle, it's High Five Ghost. Because I lied, Benson ended up with a freak too.
And even though we're both about to die a horrific and entirely preventable death, I'm really glad I got to spend this time with you.
Context for those who am I kidding? No one's clicking on a video about Benson doesn't already know the gist. But yeah, Benson is the victim trapped being the manager at the park local fuck-ups Mordecai and Rigby decide to work at. Where apart from being wage slaved and paid just nothing a month, they're allowed to live on the property, meaning he can never get away from them. This was a mistake, as due to a combo of them being just on that find out spectrum and this world being frankly insane, Benson's quiet, orderly life gets thrown for a loop once these slackers join his team, where only by the grace of Pops do they not get fired, cussed out, or choked out like in Rigby's case. Now, that sounds bad, but again, he was terrible in the early seasons. Though he wasn't killed by my best friend's level of bad. Benson's job went from a delegator of tasks to riding these dorks for the foreseeable future. As if they weren't slacking, they were acting up and probably risking the universe while they were at it. Those may be gumballs, but they look like a beard for a reason because this dude is stressed. Which is the funny part of us just, again, coming back to the show as adults. As yeah, Benson was kind of right a lot. It's always funny to make the authority figure in a kid's cartoon the butt of the joke, but this isn't Bugs Bunny or Sonic, where they're taking the piss out of an unreasonable authority figure. No, Benson, he's still kind of a dick, which is fair given who he has to deal with, but besides his mean streak, he's not that unreasonable most of the time. Most of the time, he just wants these two to do their fucking jobs, with them proving to be liabilities just constantly. Like, even after he warms up to them, they are still being massive headaches that bring more problems than whatever they're like. They could literally hire anyone else and things would just clear up so much for him. But they're here to stay because it's a show, and he proves to be the disciplinarian that they need for their lives, as yeah, they need to get that shit together. And after a point, they do all just become friends, though it took a long time to get there. See, on a day that seemed like any other, Benson is pissed, getting disrespected, then the Goon Squad does something that leads to him getting knocked out, leading to a Weekend at Bernie's style adventure where Mordecai and Rigby, to save their jobs, ignore their boss having possible brain damage, again, dragging Benson across the park, pretending he's awake, with them just somehow getting away with all of it. Till they get back to his place where they see the exact blonde reason Benson was riding them so hard that day. Now, Benson is a slave driver. He will crack that whip at the first sign of someone wasting his time. This does not work nearly as much as some people would like to believe, but from the MC's perspective, yeah, Benson was just a dick. He had no life outside of the job. He was just bossing around to meet some random quota, not believing for a second that he could possibly have a reason to get home early. And now they get it. They discover that Benson has clearly been trying to get with the girl next door, with a big party where they were finally gonna hang out together, just being the same day Benson got knocked the fuck out by his employees. So feeling bad about doing Benson like this, Mordecai's empathy is triggered as he sees Benson not just as his boss, but as a fellow man dying of thirst. So he bullies Rigby into puppeting Benson through this party. Lil dude doesn't care, he just wants to dump Benson in his bed and pray that the the amnesia keeps him from remembering how he got like this. But they all go through the party where against all odds and the laws of these people have to be blind, making Benson make his move, with their helping their boss getting laid hitting just a bit of a snag. As her Audrey, the girl's name is Audrey, though I promise you that's not important, as her ex shows up. And he's also a dick. So naturally, this being regular show rather than just, the guy yells, goes home, gets pulled away by his friends, we instead escalate into something insane. In this case, a spicy food contest that Benson clears on account of, you can't feel the heat when you're out cold.
What the? Oh shit. Guys are so unbelievably.
There are girls watching.
Benny, not wanting to blow his shot with Audrey, takes that final drink, and because fuck these other two, they put me in this position, he makes them drink as well, where they trip balls, and Mississippi Queen plays, which is crazy. That costs so much money to use for just this sequence. But Benson wakes up with Audrey's number, making this the start. Oh wait, they already broke up.
What about Audrey?
We broke up, remember?
I don't recall.
Okay, so Audrey has one, debatably two, but I'm just say one major appearance after this, and it's just nothing, as it's not really about her. You see, Benson finally asks her out, he cuts loose, then tears up the dance floor, so he gets kidnapped, leading to a clone conspiracy in which Audrey doesn't show up again till the very end. They are officially together now, but they don't really matter, and the next time we hear about them, they broke up. As the story needed Benson's new boo to be a Russian spy.
Nikolai!
Look, this is a whole other video topic, regular show made American propaganda. But to bring it back to a different tangent, Benson's love life is understated. Yeah, that's the nice word I'll use. He's the only guy looking at this point in the story as Rigby is settled and Mordecai crashed out, leaving Benson as the only man looking at the park. And since all the women in his life are plot devices, he won't be getting one anytime soon. Which is something I feel like, I need to mention at least once. Now, I want all of you to sit down for a second. Just close your eyes and imagine a female character from regular show. You got someone? Okay, perfect. Now, if they're a love interest, like, share, and subscribe, because that's pretty much all of the major characters. Like, to just say it, regular show is a bit of a sausage fest when it comes to, the main characters, with the majority of the women who stick out just starting as romantic options. This isn't to say that they're just underwritten or that the show doesn't have any great female characters, but this is a pattern worth acknowledging. Margaret, CJ, Eileen, Starla. If we're being honest, for most people who watch the show and weren't locked in, some people watch the show, other people read and write the wikis. These two things are not the same. As most casuals, when it comes to female characters that aren't a love interest, the only one most people can remember or remember hearing about is, well,
If you say your mom, you're fired. My mom! Get out!
if we took family members out of the pool of named women who speak more than once, ooh, it's tiny, especially if you go recurring characters. This contributes to the overall pattern of just regular show not having the biggest recurring supporting cast. But where it gets really noticeable is once you start looking just at women who platonically know everyone else. We could sit to unpack that a little bit more and just the presentation for some of the characters, but to keep the focus on the topic at hand, Benson's love life. He doesn't really get one.
I don't remember any of this.
Bro is the boss character who is here to kick the boys in the pants and to get them to do the thing that they're not supposed to or overcome an obstacle. He's not going to be the focus all that often, with the times they choose to bring up his just dating life occupying just an equally small part of the total time we spend with him. Audrey just kind of popped in as a surprise, oh yeah, the boss character, he has his own life, he has his girl he clearly likes but is not doing the best to get with her, but is kind of dragging his feet and being shy about asking her out. But after that it's okay, we've established the gimmick, he's kind of shy and a little bit quirky around her, so we're gonna tease him about this, and then she just becomes an extra, with their relationship then just being ended in a throwaway. The mechanics of time management meant that Benson's love life was never gonna get a whole lot of screen time, but whoever he was with was gonna especially get so much less. But even then, holy shit, do we get so little time with Pam.
Get back to work!
Every day I wake up and remember that the dome and space seasons were real, and that shocks me. Yeah, those final 2 seasons were wild. The park was covered in a dome, the final season is even weirder, with the build-up being hilarious in hindsight as, yeah, for all the shit regular show does, it doesn't usually continue past the 11 minutes. So them doing something just to change the status quo so much, it is almost unheard of, if not for the fucking Ninja Turtles, who do this almost every series. But in the backdrop of all this, we also get Benson and honestly, it's nothing. So you see Pam, Benson's new love interest, she exists, she is on screen, but she might as well be a standee for like her first couple appearances, as she is basically an extra. And in contrast, Benson here was just tweaking.
What did you call me?
The most passionate Benson ever gets in the show is when he thinks he got a date wrong. Not a date day, just the wrong day an event was supposed to happen, and he refused to believe it. I mean, he was right, but that feels very telling for his character in a certain kind of way. There's a dome over the park, some scientists are here to watch them, and this becomes a permanent fixture of the series. Don't think about how creepy it is, it's just here to stay. And in the meantime, Benson finally gets a new love interest.
Oh my gosh.
Her name is Pam. See, the thing about Pam is that she and Benson are both workaholics. 2 people who probably should have met at a singles only party, except just didn't have the friends to drag them there. They managed to hit it off. Where Benson, after a long dry spell, is just immediately enamored with this scientist who has been getting paid to spy on him for the last couple of weeks. The vibe I would peg these two is quirky and very convenient. They kind of just crash into each other with the same items, same interest, and even Ben accidentally knocking the bar out of her hand leads to a new convo about how much she hates the work food, revealing that she likes wings. And like that, it's over. Every box has been checked, she is not like the other girls. Benson therefore will dedicate the rest of today to getting her those wings so that he can ask her out. Applying his old sense of perfectionism, he makes himself everyone else's problem, overanalyzing his purchase, and just complicating everything for everyone else involved. This is adorable, and I do think it's a nice twist that Benson, the usual authority figure of his crew, is now acting against the rules to get a date. The doctor in charge is he's kind of just some loser who we later find out is annoyed that Pam refused to date him, so probably because of that, he has a bunch of pedantic rules that make everyone else's lives in the facility harder. Benson, the usual rule maker, has decided that fuck the rules, I am trying to get laid, and he sneaks into the facility to share some wings with her, and then they die. But it's all good, they both burp it out. I mean, not really, yeah, that was a doctor, but he's a dick, so let's ignore him, except they don't. As the dude points out, it is a slight conflict of interest for Pam to be studying the guy she's dating, so maybe not do that, to which they agree, because they can wait like a month or 2 for this experiment to end, and then they can start dating. But then he gets sent to space, and then they break up.
Sure you're okay?
I totally understand. I am good.
Benson and the rest of the park are trapped in space. Pops has some insane lore, don't worry about it. But Benson isn't taking that breakup well either. I'll be honest, it does feel a little iffy to even consider them together, but it be like that sometimes. Heartbroken and unable to find solace in the wings on account of...
It's everything that reminds me of her, and I need it gone.
Benson ends up locking in on fries to be his new comfort food.
I'm starting to feel better already.
Picked up by an alien named Roxy, the two go off just to help her get more fries, and she starts thirsting out for his gumball bod. Her attempts at making the first move don't go well on account of her being a literal rock, which is funny given how, like, this dude's made out of glass, but it's never once been brought up as an issue. But fuck her, I guess, for being an alien. Storming off, Benson gives chase and nearly dies. Again. Bro should get a punch card at this point. But these two, they do end up talking. It's just not a good time. He just got broken up with. With the old vet, he is honest about how this sucks. It sucks being broken up with, and no matter how many times it's happened, it always has a little bit of a sting. But he's been through it. He gets it. And he just needs some time to heal and figure his shit out. And I do love this, as it is such a good contrast to say Mordecai, who also had some bad breakups. He also had some bad coping mechanisms. But unlike the older man, Mordecai really wallowed in that L. He let himself just become a bum, while Benson knew better. He knew he couldn't just keep wallowing in his own misery, that he needed to keep moving forward. Maybe that's part of the reason why he is so obsessed with his job, as it provides so much structure and what he needs to just keep going through his life. It may not be the best way to deal with things a lot of the time, but it works for him. And as we see with the epilogue, it really ended up working for him, as yeah, he and Pam got back together, I guess. Yeah, this is one of those everyone got their partner happy ending type deals. Everyone else has moved in with their spouses or just moved on with their life. Benson has stuck around though to keep running the park. Keeps nearly dying in this place, and at this point, he will definitely end up being buried here. But he's got Pam. He's running it alongside her, which, yeah, and the two of them together have a lot of pets. And this is like pretty cute ending. Based on the little time we invested in Benson's love life, seeing him settle down, still being himself with a partner who's down for that, is one of the better outcomes Benson as a character could have hoped for. Regular show, big picture, could be seen as Rigby and Mordecai coming into adulthood, going from slackers who just want to have enough cash to feed themselves and play video games, to becoming partners, fathers, and finding out who they are, after floundering for most of their early 20s. In contrast, Benson is a much older man. He's meant to be later 30s, early 40s, so for him, where he's at, he didn't just end up at the park. He chose this life. He chose these people. This man is very comfortable where he's at. Meaning for him, at this point in his life, it was always about those smaller changes. Benson didn't need Eileen, someone to inspire him to change himself. He liked who he was. It was all about finding someone who vibed and complimented just what he had going on. Pam, as we see, was that person, as she was also a workaholic. Whether she devoted herself to helping Benson run the park or kept up with her science career, she was down for the heavy work-life balance Benson had going on, so they had little need to change and instead just thrived in this given environment. We saw next to nothing of them, but honestly the math tracks, and after all the throwaways, Benson ending up with Pam is kind of the end game you'd expect for a character designed to yell at his employees. They're just chill and adorable together, and hopefully, with fucking Mordecai and Rigby gone, Benson's blood pressure can finally calm down.